Jagex presented the first real look into what Project Zanaris might be, and the question looming over the community is simple. Is this update going to destroy Oldschool Runescape or not? If you need a quick answer to that, I'll put it right here in front of you. And now that the TikTok Andes are satisfied and already left the video, let's talk about this project and how it might influence our beloved wizard game. If you still don't know what the name means, no, it's not a new quest in Zanaris. Instead, we'll get our very own private servers. If you played Monetize back in the day, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This to me is still the dream bank I hope to have one day. The difference this time is that Jagex is hosting those servers and they plan to rent them out to players for a price. The idea is that you can design the servers however you want and it's up to you how you play this game. So let's go over all the new features this project will have, and at the end of this video I want to briefly give my own thoughts and talk about the downsides of this update. Let's start from the beginning. This is the page where you can start customizing your own world or even join other people's servers. First of all, you have the news tab that will showcase all the updates for the game, and then you get the best part of the update, making your own worlds. Starting off, let's say you want to make a PvP server to practice your skills. The main page allows you to add tags for your server. You can also make it unlisted so it's not available publicly, and you can add a password to your server so the only people you want to join can come in. And then you can jump into the rules section of the server. Currently there are about 400 parameters you can change, from your character customization, combat, death mechanics, different minigame options, quest rewards and much more. For example, if you jump into making your own character, we have 77 different parameters to customize it. Once again, keep in mind that this is an early phase and there will be a lot more options. Since this will be a PvP server, how about we make it that everyone in the game takes less damage? And if you change that parameter to 50%, that means all the weapons will deal half the damage they usually do. Next up, maybe you want to have unlimited run energy on every character like we have in Leagues, then you can simply turn the slider on and you have that covered. Or maybe once again, since it's PvP server, we can have unlimited prayer because, well, you are learning and you don't want to bring prayer potions with you. I'm not gonna go through all the 400 different perimeters right now in this video, but some things to keep in mind are region-locked perimeters where you can actually use coordinates to draw a box where players are allowed to be. So if your region lock is Lumbridge Castle, that means you can type in the coordinates of that castle and nobody is allowed to go outside of that. Then you can customize what stats everyone starts with, you can disable weapons, armor and every other equipment slot. You can even enable so your runes don't deplete and much more. And once you set all the parameters for your own server, you can start building it. Then a new pop-up comes along and showcases you every single change you made compared to the normal game, but don't worry, you can edit your parameters after you start the server, so you're not locked into this forever. And then you can build your own world. Once that is done, you can go to My Worlds tab and you see your first project. The first thing you can see is World ID, and this allows you to share your server with other people. All they have to do is copy-paste the ID into their own game and they can log in as well. This server only allows 50 people to join, but the number can go as high as 2000. And the final tab is templates, and that's pretty self-explanatory. People might not want to manually go through all the parameters one by one every time they make a server, so the templates give you dozens of pre-made options, and with single click you can just make the server yourself. Jagex also said that you will likely see previous leaks in these templates, so if you missed out on, let's say, Leaks 1 that happened over 7 years ago, there's likely going to be a template right here that allows you to replay that game mode again. We also got answers to some of the more burning questions, so I'm going to list them here. Number 1. Will you be able to cross-game chat with people in already existing worlds? And the answer is yes. You can still join your existing clan, your friend chat will still be there, and you can talk with people even if one of you is using Project Zanaris and the other one is using normal worlds. Number 2. Can I try out new content in Project Zanaris? Not on release. It will have few months of delay, so the priority will be put on main worlds, and once everyone has tried it out there, the new content will be available in Project Zanaris as well. Number 3. Can you play older game versions, like for example the 2013 version when Oldschool Runescape was launched? Currently Jagex is looking into that and they're trying to make it work. So for example, I talked about Leaks 1 that happened 7 years ago. They would like to bring it to life like it was back then and not with the current version of the game. But this option might not come with the first version of Project Zanaris. Number 4. How will plugins work with this update? Jagex is investing into their own plugin ecosystem that should come out this year, and they want to explore explore even more perimeters where certain plugins can be disabled if the player wants. So for example, if you want to make a server that disables the ground tile plugin so PvM is more difficult, you can likely do that in the future. Oh, by the way, before we talk about monetization for this update, if you want to get the latest Oldschool Runescape news or you just enjoy this type of content, consider helping me out and subscribing so you don't miss out on the next video. Thank you very much. Okay, so the main question, can you monetize your own server? First of all, to even purchase your own server, you need to be members to access Project Zanaris, and then you can rent the servers from Jagex. They mentioned the price of renting is going to be similar to other games, so I looked them up, and for something like Minecraft, it starts with $6 in the beginning and it goes up to $50 depending on how many players you want in your server. And for something like Roblox, it costs approximately $5 to host your servers for a smaller player base, and it goes up to $25 for larger ones. So expect to see a price something similar to that. And finally, can you monetize your own server like other sandbox games? And the answer is currently no. Jagex doesn't allow players to monetize their own server at release, but that doesn't mean this option will never be available. In the future, if enough players will want this and the release goes smoothly, they might look into more monetization options. Okay, now that we talked about all of this, I want to give you my own thoughts on this entire project. First of all, the idea likely came to life after Jagex saw the potential of what Oldschool Runescape could be. From Swampletics to Killenor Games to one chunk accounts, it turns out you can do a lot of unique things if you bend the rules of the game. We all know Jagex is actively looking for new sources of revenue, so not only could this potentially gain new paying customers, they can also gain extra income through renting the servers. Now, I want to get this out of the way. I already briefly talked about monetization, but I personally think Jagex is missing out on a huge opportunity by not allowing people to monetize their servers. One way for players to recoup the money they spend on servers and everything else that comes with hosting is by making custom items or extra features that they can sell to their player base. I think not allowing people to monetize is just going to create another black market problem, and all this does is expand on the so-called illegal activity in the game. I can definitely imagine somebody makes a PvP custom server and starts selling upgraded items for a small payment. So at the end of all of this, they will miss out on new revenue source that they can share with server hosts, and they will also likely need to hire more people in the anti-cheating team. And that's the number one issue. The second one I noticed was currently the mediocre customization options we have. Now, like I said many times in the video, that doesn't mean all of this is final, but it does seem like their main focus is something Leagues related. A lot of emphasis is put on features like League relics, damage increase, quest completions, region locking, infinite run, infinite special attack, and so on. All of these are pretty much the basics of any League we had so far. I personally don't think that's enough to make this project a successful idea. The only thing majority of people care about is world editing. Being able to place new assets and edit terrain to make essentially a new map is a must-have, especially if you're trying to recreate a sandbox version of the game. Because adjusting a few sliders and moving few numbers left and right is not going to have impact in the long run. Maybe somebody wants to make their own tower defense minigame. Maybe somebody wants to make their own Grandmaster quest. Maybe somebody wants to make the Inferno version 2.0 with new assets. Currently, that's not possible. They obviously took this idea from all the other sandbox games that are widely popular. We have Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite, StarCraft, and few others that have seen massive success. The good thing about this is that modding community is massive in other games. Basically, they created an entire ecosystem within the games themselves. And the best part is, from what I've seen myself, it didn't have any impact on the main game. People still play the normal version of Minecraft, people still play normal Fortnite, but it also attracted an extra audience that wanted something different while still staying in the bounds of the normal version of the game. The argument you could make is that these games I mentioned are completely different genres. You can label most of them as sandbox, and the entire purpose of this genre is to build your own. Meanwhile, RuneScape at the end of the day is still an MMORPG. It's almost like a comparison when Jagex made speedrunning worlds in RuneScape. The speedrunning community is absolutely massive with hundreds of thousands of players around the world, but it just never took off in RuneScape for multiple reasons. And maybe we could have the same outcome with Project Zanaris. Despite the sandbox genre being one of the most popular in the world, there is a chance it might just not work out in RuneScape. Currently, I am staying neutral on this topic, but I can definitely see the potential if done right. It all just comes down to how many tools Jagex is willing to hand out and how customizable the options are. If it stays like the current version where you can only change stats or experience multipliers, I don't think it will last very long. But the more creative tools you give to players, the more likely it is to succeed. That's it from me. Thank you for watching and I'll see you tomorrow with another video. I love you all very much. Bye.